There's the bay. We're going to be shooting off to the left side of it.
A U.S. cargo plane attempts a difficult landing at the American naval base in Guantanamo Bay.
Where's the strobe? Right over there.
It requires avoiding restricted Cuban airspace.
We were intimidated by the fact there might be guards at the fence perimeter with guns.
Everybody told us, they'll shoot you down, they'll shoot you down.
What the hell?
We heard an explosion. It was pretty devastating.
Investigators are determined to find out why a DC-8 crashed so close to the Cuban border.
To destroy a DC-8 like that, there had to be a high-energy impact.
That fear may have led to disaster.
Stall warning. I got it. Stall warning. Stall warning. Max power. I got it. Back off. There it goes.
At the very end, things happened very rapidly. We were too low, and our reactions were too slow.
And I should have turned it over to Tom, but I was already just sort of out of it. It still gets to me because it still boils down to the captain. You know, the captain made a mistake, and that's a hard thing to live with all the time.
Investigators discover one final tragic piece of the puzzle. The strobe Captain Chapo spent so much time looking for wasn't even working that day. And no one had told the controller that the strobe was down.
She never told them that it was inoperative.
Where's the strobe?
So now they're trying to find something that doesn't exist. And when they saw something flash out there, which they thought was the strobe, it was actually the tin roof on a little cabana. They assumed that that was the strobe.
In his final report on the crash of AIA Flight 808, Greg Feith emphasizes the central role played by fatigue.
This accident that happened in Guantanamo Bay with this flight crew was precedent-setting. It was the first commercial aviation accident caused by fatigue. Not fatigue contributing to the accident, but actually caused by fatigue. And the industry took notice.
A quarter century after the accident, Captain Jim Chapo and First Officer Tom Curran finally meet the man who brought them out of the wreckage, firefighter Frank Krupa, who was decorated for his work that day.
Hang on. Just hang on. Help us, please. Get us out of here, please.
I know these old guys. Thank you so much for it.
So you're the man.
Well, I'm one of them.
Good deal.
I'm representing the crew.
Right.
Yes, it was the worst aircraft crash I've been on, but the guys survived. And
despite losing his right leg, First Officer Tom Curran went back to flying and eventually joined the NTSB as an investigator.
I live with considerable discomfort, so every time I take a step, I remember it. But you have to shunt things to the side. You can either decide to go forward, or you can hibernate, retire to oblivion. That's not my type A personality.
Captain Jim Chapo suffered back injuries in the crash and never returned to commercial flying.
You know, I think about those things a lot, and I would want people to realize it can happen to them. If you're fatigued, call it in and just stick with it.
Flight engineer David Richmond, who was badly injured, regained his health, and went on to captain commercial cargo flights. In the aftermath of the Flight 808 crash, the Federal Aviation Administration tightens regulations on crew sleep requirements. And mandates airlines to take into account the latest sleep research as they manage pilot rest times.
Today we have much more scientifically bound crew duty time limits. As an industry, we're better about all of those today, but we can still improve, and we should.